there are multiple reports where executives, scouts, whatever the case may be, have come away from the Senior Bowl and are now saying that with the Chicago Bears having the number one overall pick, that they could possibly move off of Justin Fields and maybe go get a CJ Stroud or a Bryce Young, Anthony Richardson, Will Levis, whatever they want to do. I don't think they should do that. Obviously, they have a couple of different options here that they can go with, but like the grass hasn't even grown with Justin Fields yet. The man hasn't even grown a full beard since being in Chicago yet. Like, what are we doing here? Let the guy have some time. He's went through two head coaches. He hasn't had a true offensive weapon that he's been able to take advantage of. We got so much to get into with Justin Fields, but of course, I want to address the chat. Sounds good, Chief. Appreciate you, boss, and appreciate you being the first comment on the show tonight as well. Darby, I can't believe what people are saying about Justin Fields. I hope we go get him. The Falcons could make a call. The almost said the Cardinal Panthers. The Panthers could make a call, of course. I'm not going to get too much into that, but let's just break it down a little bit here with Justin Fields. So again, reports coming out of the Senior Bowl that these executives are saying, okay, we want to move off of Justin Fields potentially. There's been a lot of talk around this, but the biggest thing for me is people are now seeing that with the Senior Bowl. They're taking his comment about, I hope that the Bears get me into a dome or they build a dome or something. So essentially, I guess not so he could play better, but it was just his personal preference. And I think that's being really, really inflated and blown out of the water right now. Because let's just be real. What quarterback doesn't want to play in a dome? Maybe they do like the cold better or the snow, whatever the case is, being outside. But to me, every quarterback out there would want to play in a dome. It's controlled temperatures. You more than likely have AC. It's balanced temperatures. Like the noise can kind of be an advantage for you Saints fans out there. Of course, you know that. Any other team out there with a dome, you know that once the dome encloses the noise, it's harder for that defense or just nonetheless for the opposing team to actually lock in. So the whole dome comment, I think, is getting completely blown out of proportion. And of course, people always want to use the highest, possible standard to compare people to, which isn't a problem, but we know Fields is a couple seasons away from that. Patrick Mahomes apparently was caught on the sideline in a video, mic'd up saying, oh man, I love playing in the cold. Like, give me the cold, give me the snow. And that's great. Mahomes is one of one. He is also the sixth best quarterback of all time. We're talking about a second-year Justin Fields here. So let's just keep it a buck. Let's just keep it real and keep on moving along through this segment. I again, as we go through this, it still shocks me that Justin Fields on the potential trade block, whether it happens on draft night, whether it happens before, whatever the case may be, that those rumors are actually out there. Now, here's the reasons that everyone's talking about. This is why we should trade Justin Fields, says 2% of the Bears fan base. I don't know. If you're a Bears fan, whether you see it on social media, you're live here in the stream, call into the show. What do you want to happen with Justin Fields? So in 2 years, Justin Fields has completed 59% of his passes. He has a passer rating under 80. In total, 24 touchdowns, 21 interceptions over a span of 2 years. And if he is average potentially this year, if he comes back out third year, doesn't look great under Eberflus, if they potentially butcher the draft or whatever the case may be, if he doesn't look good, his trade value could possibly decrease. And I understand that. I definitely understand that because there is a chance that the Bears might not be back in the number one pick position again. So I get it when you're in a big spot, when you're in an unlikely spot and you feel like you have a once in a 2 decade or, once in a 50-year span chance that you want to take advantage of that. So maybe moving off Fields now is the most value that he has. I'm not necessarily agreeing with that, but that's some of the stipulations as to why they should move off of Justin Fields. And another reason, the new regime did not draft Justin Fields. People forget that the GM, Ryan Poles was hired in January of 22, and Eberflus was just the head coach last year for his first year. So the head coach and the GM did not pick Justin Fields. They didn't make that trade on draft night to go get Justin Fields and to steal the NFL draft. Wasn't their decision. So in a way, you could say that there's really no ties there. I think that would be incredibly stupid to move off of Justin Fields, but the new regime didn't draft him. Don't know what the GM and the head coach are feeling, but the facts are the facts. Now, here's another thing also. At the end of the day, the reason I think they shouldn't move off of him is Justin Fields needs a consistent offensive weapon like when Stephon Diggs was given to Josh Allen, or like when Jalen Hurts was given to Devontae Smith or an A.J. Brown, or like we've seen these multiple players move throughout. Kyler Murray might not have taken leaps and bounds, but he damn sure had a wide receiver one in DeAndre Hopkins when, he arrived in Arizona. So we kind of saw the stretching of the potential and of the talent, for these quarterbacks that, we're getting these trades for these wide receivers to help them out. Now, you know, he needs a consistent head coach. He's had 2 coaches in 2 years, like I said, Matt Nagy, who went 34-31 in his time there, and then Matt Eberflus as well, who clearly secured getting the number 1 overall pick for the Chicago Bears. So that's just a reflection in itself. And to know that they stole the draft 2 years back with that trade, hyping everyone up, and a lot of the fan base, I feel like personally, I don't know a lot of Bears fans, but I watch plenty of content. I put a lot of research into this show, and just from the podcast that I look to in the articles, like Justin Fields, he's not the savior, but he is that guy. He is him for this franchise. Not saying that he's an elite quarterback. I thought he was a great talent coming out of college, but Justin Fields, again, in my opinion, and to the fan base, it looks like that's the solution, right? I mean, Bears fans, again, get in the comments. I'm about to check the chat. Let me know. Tell me on social media. Is Justin Fields really that solution for the Bears? Going over to the chat here. I'll trade our 29th pick for Fields. Yep. I'm here for that. I'd love to have him in New Orleans. That'd be really nice. Justin Fields. I don't know what you're getting at there, bro. Love you though anyways, Darby. But here's the biggest thing, right? So it's way too early to be out on him. And I want to show this. I literally put this graphic right into the stream before we went live so I could just, the numbers will literally drive it home for you. Speaking of Josh Allen and Jalen Hurts, you take a look at Josh Allen's first 2 seasons, as it says right there. 56% completion, 30 touchdowns, 21 interceptions, and a 78 rating. Jalen Hurts, who just went to a Super Bowl. Josh Allen, who's been to an AFC title game. But on Jalen Hurts here, 59% completion, 22 touchdowns, 13 interceptions, 84.7 rating. You see it on the screen here. Justin Fields' first 2 years, 59.7%, 24 touchdowns, 21 picks, about an 80% passer rating. We had questions about Josh Allen. We definitely had questions about Jalen Hurts until he took him to the Super Bowl, and we're going to get into our top 10 quarterbacks going into next season later on in this episode. But again, for people that just hopped in, we're talking about the Justin Fields trade here, the potential Justin Fields trade, which I think is insanely stupid as hell. And it's been 2 seasons for Fields. We want to talk highly of Josh Allen, which I think he's great. We want to talk highly of Jalen Hurts, which I think he's great. Here's the numbers here. Give Justin Fields a chance. Trade for him, a wide receiver. I understand he had Allen Robinson and only 400 yards, I think, in that year before he went on to the Rams. I definitely know over 1,000 yards the year before. Darnell Mooney's obviously been hurt. You got to get him some consistent coaching, a consistent front office. And I get it, the Bears aren't the most well-ran team out there. But to actually say that Justin Fields is worth moving off of after seeing those numbers, I just don't know, man. I mean, I love Justin Fields. I argue that he was more talented than Trevor Lawrence coming in. Clearly, we've seen the leap Trevor Lawrence has taken. But let's also realize, before all of you, oh, look at Trevor Lawrence. You think he's the second best. Trevor Lawrence also has Doug Peterson, who just won a Super Bowl 5 years ago. So let's not act like that accomplishment for Doug Peterson isn't now rubbing off on Trevor Lawrence. I wish the Bears could have got Sean Payton. I wish the Bears maybe would have went out and got Shane Steichen. He looked great up that Philly offense, just comparing him to Jalen Hurts, of course, and he likes to mold younger players. So I don't know what's going to happen. Again, the Justin Fields potential trade, kind of crazy to me.